The actual circumstances around the murder of Tommy DeSimone, which was portrayed in the movie Goodfellas, have long been debated. But what about some of the other killings that feature in that movie? How accurate were they? Let's check it out. I'm James Gladwish and welcome to OC Shorts, bringing you detailed historical snapshots of the American Mafia and other organised crime. Feel free to subscribe if you like that sort of thing. Today, we are going to take a quick look at how accurate the film Goodfellas was regarding the deaths of some of its characters. Frankie Carbone, played by actor Frank Severo, is believed to have been based on mobster Angelo Sepe. Angelo Sepe was born in Ozone Park, Queens on January 14, 1941. He had an arrest record including a 1967 robbery, as well as possession of narcotics and weapons. In 1972, he was sent to Lewisburg Penitentiary on a 10-year sentence for bank robbery. He was released on parole after serving around 5 years. Angelo Sepe is strongly believed to have been one of the gunmen who participated in the 1978 Lufthansa heist. And he was also one of the first arrested, as was widely reported. The FBI arrested 2 Long Island men yesterday in connection with the $5.8 million robbery of a Lufthansa Airlines cargo terminal at Kennedy Airport on December the 11th, the first arrests in the biggest robbery in US history. None of the money was recovered, sources said. The FBI announced the arrest of Angelo Sepe of Mattituck and Ozone Park. Sources said he was one of the ski mask gang that robbed the terminal. He was charged with theft from an interstate shipment. However, Angelo Sepe was later released and the charges dropped. Shortly after the famous heist, Angelo Sepe, along with Tommy DeSimone, is believed to have participated in the murder of Parnell Stacks Edwards. In Goodfellas, Frankie Carbone, the Sepe-based character, is found dead in a meat truck, with Ray Liotta's famous voiceover stating, "It made him sick to have to turn over money to the guys who stole it. He'd rather whack 'em. Anyway, what did I care? I wasn't asking for anything, and besides, Jimmy was making nice money with me through my Pittsburgh connections. But still, months after the robbery, they were finding bodies all over. When they found Carbone in the meat truck, he was frozen so stiff it took them 2 days to thaw him out for the autopsy." In reality, this didn't happen to Angelo Sepe. He actually survived the bodies mounting up after the Lufthansa heist. However, 5 years later, Angelo Sepe was murdered in July 1984, along with his 19-year-old girlfriend. One newspaper reported, "Angelo Sepe, a suspect in the $5.8 million 1978 Lufthansa heist, who once bragged, 'When my time comes, my own people will kill me,' was found shot to death gangland style yesterday with a female companion in the basement of a Brooklyn apartment house." Sepe, who reportedly had been the target of a recent unsuccessful assassination attempt, is the 11th person connected with the Lufthansa robbery at Kennedy Airport, either to be rubbed out by the underworld or to vanish, the FBI said. 7 have been slain and 4 are missing. None of the Lufthansa money has ever been recovered. Sepe, 42, had been shot several times in the face, police said. The woman, identified as Joanne Lombardo, 19, had been shot once with a slug that entered her upper throat and passed through her head. Despite linking Angelo Sepe's murder to the Lufthansa heist, it is rumoured that he was murdered because he robbed a mob-backed drug dealer. Interestingly, there actually was a man found in a meat truck. His name was Richard Eaton. Eaton was laundering the money from the Lufthansa heist, but made the mistake of trying to skim some of the cash from Jimmy Burke. Frenchy, portrayed by actor Mike Starr, is based on real-life mob associate Robert Bobby McMahon. In the book Wise Guy, Henry Hill states of Bobby McMahon, "Bobby McMahon, the cargo foreman, was one of my best customers. He also used to come across stuff once in a while, and we'd buy perfume, clothes and jewellery from him. Bobby McMahon had been with Air France so long, his nickname was Frenchy, and there wasn't too much about the whole cargo operation he didn't know." As shown in the movie, Frenchy was the inside man when on April the 8th, 1967, Henry Hill stole $480,000 from the Air France cargo building. Frenchy was a low-level criminal associate of Jimmy Burke's crew. In 1972, Frenchy had been charged with attempted mail hijacking at Kennedy Airport. And in 1977, he was convicted, along with a man called John Ciaccio, of hijacking a truck. However, neither men served time, due to a retrial being ordered, after it was revealed a court officer had delivered unauthorized instructions to the jurors during deliberations. With regards to the infamous Lufthansa heist in December 1978, Frenchy McMahon wasn't actually involved in carrying out the robbery. In the film, Ray Liotta's voiceover says, "Frenchy and Joe Buddha had to round up the workers." However, in reality, it is believed that Frenchy helped supply some of the equipment used in the heist, but did not actually participate. In the film Goodfellas, Robert Frenchy McMahon's dead body was shown being found in the back of a garbage truck. However, in reality, he was shot to death in a car alongside Joe Mannery on May 17, 1979. One newspaper reports, Mannery, who has been identified as a member of the Antonio Tony Ducks Corallo crime family, was found slumped in the front seat of a 1972 Buick parked on Schenectady Avenue near Avenue M. Alongside Mannery was his bodyguard Robert Frenchy McMahon, 42, of Wantar, Long Island. Both men had been killed with single shots in the back of the head. Joe Mannery, the man shot to death with Frenchy McMahon, is the character known as Joe Buddha in the film. Joseph Joe Buddha Mannery was allegedly also known as Joe Gas Station Joey Mannery after once holding up a gas station. Mannery supposedly did participate in the Lufthansa heist and reportedly pistol-whipped one of the guards. Some sources suggest he was murdered because he was complaining that he had only received half of his $200,000 share of the robbery. In the film, the character of Joe Buddha is played by actor Clem Caserta. Stax Edwards, portrayed by Samuel L. Jackson, is based on Parnell Stax Edwards. Edwards was a hanger-on to the Jimmy Burke crew that hung out of Robert's Lounge on Lefferts Boulevard in South Ozone Park. Henry Hill would say of Stax in the book Wise Guy, "There was Stax Edwards, a black credit card booster who wanted to join the Mafia. He played a blues guitar on weekends." Henry Hill would say how Stax Edwards would utilize stolen or counterfeit credit cards along with fake IDs to purchase goods in stores that were under the authorization limit, i.e. products priced at an amount that stores wouldn't phone through to confirm the credit card authorization. Henry Hill said, "Stax Edwards, who was a tall, skinny black guy who hung out with the crew, was an under-the-limit master. He'd do a day at a shopping centre with a panel truck until he ran out of room. Then he had an army of people who used to go out and sell his stuff in factories, or he'd take it to small mum-and-pop stores in Harlem or places in New Jersey that would buy his whole truckload." In the late 1970s, Stax Edwards was used as muscle by Bonanno family mobster Vincent Asaro to intimidate Bonanno associate Peter Bud Cicero. In 2015, Cicero, who had turned informant, would testify about what happened. As one paper reported, Bonanno hood Vincent Asaro rounded up his crew to do another job, punish another mobster for shooting a dog. An accused killer who apparently loves animals more than people, Asaro was furious when Peter Bud Cicero shot a guard dog protecting his nephew's auto body shop. Testifying Wednesday at Asaro's racketeering trial, Cicero said the dog went after him because he just returned from a robbery and was wearing a disguise. "The dog zeroed in on me, jumped over the desk, I guess he didn't recognize me, and started chewing on my arm," the 60-year-old mob turncoat testified. "I shot him in the head. He mauled my arm. I had no choice." Peter Cicero would then say that later that night, Vincent Asaro, Jimmy Burke, Tommy DeSimone, Stax Edwards, and Frank Burke showed up at Cicero's home, and a screaming Asaro said he was going to have Cicero killed for shooting the dog. Asaro was irrational and wouldn't listen to Cicero's explanation. Asaro was upset because the shop was co-owned by his nephew, and Asaro felt the dog belonged to him. Ultimately, Peter Zaccaro's life was spared after a sit-down. Parnell Stax Edwards was tasked with disposing of the van used in the Lufthansa heist, but he allegedly went home, got high and fell asleep, rather than taking the van to get compacted at a junkyard. Henry Hill recalls how Stax Edwards had no idea how dangerous his mistake was. Hill states, "There was a big spread of food, and I took out some money to pay. We're all having a good time when Stax Edwards sees my wad and starts to do his black dude number. How come I'm fucking broke and all of you whiteys from the Mafia got the money? He starts joking about the Mafia guys who got all those millions from the airport." Stax was crazy. That day in the papers, the cops had found the truck and it had prints all over it. The papers said they found the ski masks, a leather jacket and a footprint from a Puma sneaker. I knew Stax was supposed to have taken the truck to a guy we knew in Jersey and compacted it. Finished it. Instead, he'd gotten stoned and left the van on East 98th Street and Linden Boulevard in Canarsie, about a mile and a half from the airport. Then the jerk went home to sleep. The next day the cops found it, and now it's in the papers. Stax should have been running for his life, but instead he's in Roberts screwing around. The guy either had a death wish or he couldn't believe he was in trouble. The truth is that nobody ever knows just how much trouble he's in, and here's Stax, and there's a chance his prints are all over the truck. And he's carrying on about how the Mafia was getting all the money. As Stax and Lenny carried on, I looked at Paulie. He didn't look happy. Jimmy was watching Paulie's every move. I knew that Stax had signed his death warrant that day. Jimmy gave the order, but it was Paulie who gave Jimmy the look. That weekend, Tommy DeSimone and Angelo Sepe went to see Stax. It was easy. The guy was still in bed. They did it fast. 6 in the head. Maury Kessler, played by actor Chuck Lowe, is based on Marty Krugman. Like the character in the film, Marty Krugman did in fact own a wig shop and salon called For Men Only. You can see an advertisement for the shop here. Marty Krugman also operated as a bookmaker. A man called Louis Werner, who worked as a cargo supervisor at Lufthansa, would provide Jimmy Burke and Marty Krugman the tip about the Lufthansa heist opportunity, allegedly through a man called Frank Menner, who Louis Werner used to place bets with. According to Henry Hill, Marty Krugman continually pestered Jimmy Burke for his full cut of the Lufthansa heist. And then, on January the 6th, 1979, Marty Krugman disappeared. In the comments below, let me know your thoughts on the topic covered in this video. I hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching.